Hello and welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel, and welcome back to another match preview. Today we will be talking about Watford against Wolverhampton Wanderers, taking place on Saturday at Vicarage Road. My first time presenting a live match preview as well. Jacob unfortunately couldn't make it today, but you know, the one who makes it every single week, Mr. Hornet Shane. That's nothing against Jacob for not making it. I feel like I just misphrased that by mistake. No, love you, Jacob, really. But Shane, how are you? All good?
Yeah, I am all good. It's just when you said that the person that like makes it every week, I just had this image of me like scanning like a ticket through to like get into this kind of country.
Yeah.
I don't know why. No, listen. No, I'm good. It's been really uneventful. Well, I don't know. I mean, uneventful in the sense of it's been in like an international break, so you know we've all kind of had some time off, but it's never uneventful, is it, at Watford? Lots of things to talk about. Build up to the game on Saturday. Back at Vicarage Road, first time since the Villa game. Playing another side actually from the Midlands as well, or from that region anyway. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's really good. And before we get into it properly, if you enjoy the content, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a comment down below. And I've been personally, just before we get on to Wolves, the first episode of Speaking Up got some really nice comments from that. So honestly, thank you so much. And we got another 4 episodes coming out as well. So Shane, Watford against Wolves. I thought before we get on to the game on Saturday, I think there's only really, when I think of Watford Wolves, one place to start, which is the FA Cup semi-final. So I thought we could just touch on that first of all. Memories of that game, reflections on that game. Go on, let's hear it. Let's
mate, do you know what? If there are any subscribers that are watching this who haven't like seen my fan cam on the day or Sam's fan cam on the day, then I suggest you go on, watch that back, go back and reminisce on what was quite possibly one of the greatest moments in Watford's history, getting to an FA Cup final. Last time we did that back in 1984. I wasn't born, Sam wasn't born, a lot of people that do this channel weren't born. Incredible day, really was. And you know, the whole build up to it as well, you know, we always kind of say this, the football's always kind of there, but it's the people that you spend the day with. It's, you know, it's the walk up Wembley Way and all of that, and you know, the drinks beforehand, and you know, getting the match day program, the official souvenir program. That's when you realize that, you know what, you're in an FA Cup simply one step away from the final, the big FA Cup final, something I've grown up watching since I was, you know, a little kid and all that. So, you know, at about, I don't know, I can't remember how many minutes it was, 75 minutes, 2-0 down. I looked up at I think it might have been the old, I think it had some sort of streamers there or something like that, and it had like Watford Wolves, and I had the 2 club badges and like the FA Cup in the middle, and I genuinely thought to myself, am I ever going to get to see my team play in an FA Cup final? I got 2-0 down.
They were in complete control as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were relaying us. I think they announced on 80 minutes or so, Raul Jimenez was the man of the match or something like that. Mate. Complete control, and then out of absolutely nowhere.
Oh my god! Unbelievable! Mate, what's the goal that was? That I think away from like Vicarage Road, that's probably one of my all-time favorite Watford goals. Not just because of the atmosphere, not because of what happened next. The sheer technique. You talk about that goal specifically. That sheer technique. Like there's that, and I know, and I think you might have mentioned it before. One of the things that I miss about football is that brief silence just before the goal goes in. You can hear that there. The brief silence loops over the keeper. Everyone's just going mad. And then, of course, the rest, as we all know, Troy winning the penalty, Troy scoring the penalty. Look at how much it meant to him and all of that. And then Jerry scoring, and you know,
I feel like just from reflecting on it, I feel like the moment that Troy equalised, going into extra time, I feel like there was only ever going to be one team to win it. I feel like the loudest I've ever heard Watford fans was that small, 5-minute break in between full time and extra time. Unbelievable, and there was only ever going to be one team to win it. But you know, let's hope for more days like that in the future. And you know, we'll say it again, but that with football fans, that made it 10 times better. We were pretty much the 12th man that day. We carried the team over the line, convinced that we were so loud that day. It was unbelievable. But
I also happen to know tales of Wolves fans that left, having their side having been 2-0 up, and coming home and realising that their team that they weren't going to Wembley. So that's
let's not
bit sweeter.
Let's not forget about Raul Jimenez's mask as well, taking that down. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jacob. Unfortunately, as I said at the top of the show, Jacob couldn't join us today. Big Jacob.
Always do that.
Yeah, if we're just moving on into the present now. Then Watford Wolves on Saturday. Before we get into the team news, I just feel like my gut feeling, at least, is that this is a must-win game. It seems very early in the season to say it's a must-win game, but for me, we have 3 games coming up now, 4 if you're including Leeds, which are the Wolves game at home. Then we have Norwich away next week, followed by Newcastle at home, and then Leeds away after that. All 4 of those games are games that we can pick up points in. And if you look at our November run following the international break, where we're playing most of the top 6, I think, or the big 6, it is a difficult run where we have to be realistic and say we'll be lucky to get a couple of points in there. And that's us being realistic. And because of that, just because of momentum, to get us safe or like in a good position in the table, I feel like the next 3 games are arguably must-win games, or at least, I take 7 points now if you offered them to me. But what are your thoughts on that, Shane? It's massive, isn't it?
No, it's absolutely huge. I think when the fixture list first came out, I'm not sure people were maybe looking at this month so much. I think a lot of eyes just went straight to that November period and, the teams that we've got there. And even that early December period as well. I think we actually played Man City at home. I think that's actually one of the first games in December. So it's like a month and 1 game where, as you say, the points are going to be minimal. This is a huge month. I've said it already. This is a massive month for us.
It's one when the fixtures came out, when the club got the fixtures, that would have been the one where they put a big red circle around.
Oh, yeah.
This is where
absolutely. And 7 points, as you say, needed. I'd love to get 9. We all want to win every game, of course we do. But I think we need to be quite realistic. I think Wolves are going to present a big challenge for us this weekend. They've not scored in the Premier League this season. That's a very, very weird stat. Few clubs have got that. I think Sheffield United in the Championship are one of those clubs that actually haven't scored yet in their domestic football. They've scored obviously outside in like the cups and everything, but they've not scored yet. And Wolves are one of those sides, a very baffling one there as well. And I think Norwich and Newcastle later on this month are 2 games that we've just got to negotiate and we've got to get wins in them. But the kind of games that we'll go back to at the end of the season if we've not picked up maximum points and think, okay, what happened here? Why didn't we do it here? Kind of thing. And especially because there are teams there, I think, that are just going to be in and
around it. Yeah,
they're going to be battling with us. That's why I think it's important. I think the one big news with Wolves is the whole. I'm saying that is affecting Watford. The whole South American protocols with FIFA. I think Raul Jimenez could be missing for them potentially. I don't actually know what the full situation is with all of that, and it seems to be a lose-lose situation now with both clubs, because if they'd gone out there, they would have to have come back and quarantined. They didn't go out there, and therefore the FAs of the football associations of those clubs are punishing them here. So I don't really know how we get over this, to be honest with you. And it could well be a situation where Wolves are without Raul Jimenez, a big potential goal threat for them. And we're without our best centre-back in Francisco Sierralta.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams set up on Saturday, considering everything that's gone on. It's just been, I feel like not just for Watford, for a lot of clubs, it's been I don't want to say destructive international break, but it has not helped things at all. I look at, we were just saying off air before, Man City are going to have to play their 3rd choice goalkeeper because Edison can't play. Their 2nd goalkeeper, Stefan's got COVID. So it's really not convenient for anyone, all of this. We'll talk a bit more about Wolves later on, but from watching their game against Man United, I feel like they're just that 1 goal away from starting a real run of form. Yeah. They got that midfielder in there. I can't remember his name. Begins with a T.
Trincao.
Yeah, something like that. And he looks like a real player. Adama Traore looks like that threat without perhaps the end product. Missed a couple of good chances from what I've seen on Match of the Day. Yeah. And it's, we'll just say it now. I know we made a joke but at the start about Raul Jimenez, but fantastic to see him back out there as well. After happened to him last season. And not against us, but it'll be good to see him, get back on the goals and build himself up in the Premier League again. But if we're just going on to the team news, the club released an article today with the team news. We got 3 players, or 2.5 players who are definitely out, which are Ben Foster and Femenil won't be featuring, and most probably Sierralta won't be featuring. And then 2 players who may be touch and go, who will be assessed: João Pedro returning from injury and Ozan Tufan. Shane, with Sierralta coming out the side, what other changes would you make for the team on Saturday?
Oh boy, I think we're in a bit of a bad situation with Sierralta being out. I was going to make a joke there about how we've got loads and loads of defenders to fill in, but I'm not going to make that joke because it's a very sore topic. And I said it, at the end of the transfer window last week. It's a position that really kind of worries me. Trusticong's going off to AFCON, which we all know is going to happen. And Sierralta picks up an injury, or a situation like this occurs, something that's out of his hands. We're very light at the back. Ultimately, though, I think for Saturday, Sierralta, it looks right now at the time of recording that Sierralta will not be playing on Saturday. So with that in mind, who would I pick? Well, there's only one other option there, and that is Christian Kabasele. Whether fans like that or not, that's now the situation that we're in.
You say that, Shane. I mean, I thought, he's no Sierralta at all. I think Sierralta is arguably our most important player, because I feel like, particularly against Tottenham, everyone looks so much more confident with Sierralta in the side, particularly the defenders with the ball at their feet, knowing that Sierralta was covering them. But I did think Kabasele did play quite well. Caroline just put it over here. I thought he did all right when he played against Aston Villa and against Brighton. As I say, Sierralta was a massive loss in there, but I feel like, Kabasele could do a job perhaps.
I think it's one of those things with our kind of our back line in some respects, is that, as I've said, one injury and we're absolutely screwed. We are absolutely done for, I think. And with a lot of fans, I think I've touched in the last few weeks on our right back position. You've got Craig Cathcart out there and all of that. Kiko out injured as well, as you mentioned. So where do we kind of go from there? I think, as me and you have spoken just kind of off camera about this is a big season now for Ngakia. He has now got to nail down that right back position. Kiko's out injured. We ideally need Ngakia to start a right back. As we've started to do a lot this season, we've gone down the route of what we think Xisco will do. And I think Xisco is going to start Craig Cathcart at right back. I can just feel it. I know we don't want to see it, but I can just see it happening. I don't know why.
I feel like, admittedly, I haven't watched enough of Wolves this season. I found them a bit boring under Nuno, to be honest with you. I don't really know who plays on the wings, whether it's, Podence, Neto, or Adama, what side that is. But I think it will say a lot if Jeremy Ngakia doesn't start. And he goes with Craig Cathcart, who's played 2 international games this week at the age of what? He's in his 30s now, isn't he, Craig Cathcart?
Yeah, early 30s.
Going there right back against, say, Adama Traore, I think that's very telling. And I've said this already. I can see the Jeremy Ngakia situation going in a similar direction to the Ben Wilmot situation.
Yeah, Ben Wilmot. Yeah.
And I think it's a big day for Saturday for Jeremy Ngakia. If we don't see him in the team now, then we probably won't ever see him. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think another talking point in there, is the left back situation, because Adam Messina, another, I'd say, poor performance from him against Tottenham. Wasn't his worst, but not great. And Danny Rose in the Carabao Cup about 2 weeks ago, that was absolutely phenomenal. I thought he was best player on the pitch, looked intelligent, looked quite fit considering what other people were saying. With the international break, now that he's had 2 weeks to get even fitter, would you bring Danny Rose in there for Adam Messina?
I think with our right back, I think our left back situation, you got Adam Messina in there. He's a very interesting player for me. First game against Villa, made a mistake, gave away that very cheap penalty and all that, and it's just it is what it is. We ended up winning that game. It could easily have come back to bite us if Villa had gone at the other end and equalised or something like that. Danny Rose, on the other hand, I said it when he signed, he brings experience to this side. He brings a lot of nous. He's an experienced player. Great reception that he got from the crowd at Tottenham. They clearly value him a lot, and very rare as Watford fans, a player signs for you guys and you go to that team, to play a game of football. Danny Rose, to get a standing ovation from all 3 sides of the stadium was just unbelievable. And it was great for him, great as well for Moussa Sissoko as well. He got great return as well. But you want my honest opinion on it? Danny Rose has got to start. I don't think we can sign a player of that quality and not start him.
Champions League finalist 2 years ago.
Yeah,
He was one of the best players in that run.
Absolutely. For me, it's a no-brainer. I know, listen, it's nothing against Messina, right? He served us well. He did really well for us in the Championship. He scored a great goal against Forest as well. I remember that goal was a really good finish from him. But for me, if it's a toss-up between the two of them, we've got to go with the most experienced in there. And that for me is Danny Rose. And I think his experience will count almost double this weekend. If there's no Sierralta, you're right. Against Tottenham, Sierralta, the whole back line looks so much more composed. He looked composed as well. And I just think without a little bit of experience at the back, I think I'd give it to Danny Rose at left back. The whole Cathcart thing, though, is very interesting. I'd like to see Ngakia start. Cathcart playing 2 internationals. It hasn't stopped him before. I've got very good memories of him playing games within the international break, and he's ended up, playing a part in our following game. He's done that loads of times. A number of times the club have tweeted out, "Go well, Craig." It happens like every single game international break.
Yeah.
Because he's a clearly reliable player for that Northern Ireland side. I hope I got that right. That Northern Ireland side. So
yeah,
it's one of those. And I will just finally just want to say one thing about Ngakia as well, and the whole Wilmot situation and all that. I've noticed with Cisco, if he's not Cisco's cup of tea, he isn't Cisco's cup of tea.
Yeah.
And that's just the end of it.
I think in a way that can be a good thing. I think he made it clear to Ben Wilmot in the summer. Your surplus to requirements. I'm still convinced Ben Wilmot will go on to have a top career. Yeah. Go and make yourself something of it. Because there's no point in you just sitting on the bench here. So I think in a way it can be a good thing. But I think it's very much up in the air what the defense will be. And I think the same goes for the midfield in a way. I think Juraj Kutska, Peter Etebo. We're both on international duty. Musa Sissoko's an option in there, Tom Cleverley. In a way, do you think it's problematic at all that we don't know our best midfield 3 games into the season?
I think that's a tough question though, because we've made some signings, isn't it?
With Jacob not on the stream, someone had to throw over the difficult. So.
That was a definite Jacob question. So.
It was.
Chuck one out there. Just madness. Look, listen. I think when the season started, I don't think our midfield was complete. There were lots of rumours. We want to bring in a midfielder. We want to bring in 2 midfielders. Yakushlu is apparently at the training ground. 2 hours later, Yakushlu's not at the training ground. Yakushlu's now lost or something. And on that final day, the whole Ozan Tufan situation of him signing, that for me was a bit of a surprise. He wasn't even mentioned in any of the rumours. He just came in. It was very quick turnaround with him. Musa Sissoko as well. I think that was tweeted the day before deadline day. A deal is looking to be done. Next day, we get that fantastic announcement of him WhatsApping Danny Rose, which was fantastic as well, by the way. If you've not seen that, it's really funny. Is it a worry? Yes and no. No, it's not a worry because players have kind of been signed and they need some time to kind of integrate themselves. What will be a worry for me is on Saturday, we will have seen the work that our midfield have done during this international break. I said it before that after the Tottenham game, this is now a crucial 2 weeks for the club. Midfielders can go in, introduce themselves to each other, train with each other, get to know one another. And that's important, right? Because there are this Watford side, we love them to bits, but there have been seasons that we've watched this club whereby the players in the midfield, the players in the squad just look like 11 men that have been plucked from outside, I don't know, the Red Lion pub at like 1 o'clock on a Saturday, right? Yeah. And we know what, we couldn't find 11 players, so we thought we found 11 players out there and 3 were standing outside the tube station or something. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm disappointed I didn't make the cut, considering I'm at the Red Line before. I'd do a job. No Feminine doesn't fancy Ngakia. I think I could do a job there.
No, but in all seriousness, the work that we've done over this international break, if we have actually done any work in this international, which I think we have. I think Ozan Tufan, I've been told he's lost quite a lot of weight. He's been working with Udinese's fitness coach or something. I think that's been mentioned somewhere. I don't know what our best midfield is, to be quite honest with you. I think it involves
Shame.
of, say, Ozan Tufan. Uri Kuchka for me is crucial. Look how different we were against Tottenham when he started in the heart of that midfield. Completely different for me. Musa Sissoko, all right, he started against Spurs, his old side. I think he's got so much more to offer. I don't know what our best midfield is. So in regards to that, in regards to your original question, am I worried? I don't really know. I think the interesting point on Saturday will be, what does Cisco think? What does he think our best midfield is? And then we kind of go from there.
And I'm also thinking perhaps with no Troy Deeney now in the squad at all. I'm excited to watch tomorrow night as well. By the way, Derby, really Birmingham Derby. Looking forward to that one to watch Troy, and hopefully he can score a couple of goals. I'm still thinking he might go with Tom Cleverley in there just for the leadership, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if we do see that. I think Sissoko, as you say, has got a lot more to offer. I think Peter Etebo and Uri Kuczka have been two of our standouts so far when they've been on the pitch, and Ozan Tufan as well coming into the fold now. So there are certainly options in there, and I think it will take time to get our best midfield. But I think for me, the main worry is that progression from midfield into attack. I think that's something we really missed, particularly against Brighton and particularly against Spurs as well. I think against Aston Villa, we were able to ignore that problem because we got the ball quickly to Sarr and Dennis as fast as we could and played not on the counter attack, but we were able to get the ball really, really quickly when we were on the back foot. I feel like the one who is going to be so important when he's back, and I think he'll play midfield, you think he'll play on the wing, is João Pedro.
Yeah.
I think when he comes back, I think that's when we'll see a real change in this Watford side in terms of attacking going forward. He's now back in training. Remains to be seen whether we'll see him in the squad on Saturday. How important for you is João Pedro to this Watford side?
I think he's huge. I think he has the ability to carry this team. We've got this problem, as you say, carrying between the midfield and the attack. I think he could be that man, depending on where, of course, he starts. Of course, he was leading the line, wasn't he? Fearless 19-year-old in the Championship. I don't think he'll be given that responsibility again. I think that was all a bit different. We had injuries with Stipe Perica and Troy was out injured and all that. And I don't think, personnel-wise, I don't think it worked out the way Cisco, maybe even Ivic actually wanted it to be. But Pedro did a fantastic job in leading the line. I think, for me, he's more likely to start on the left-hand side. I don't know why I think that. It's just because we've got a lot of centre mids that have now signed for the club. There's going to be a clamour for the positions there. We've listed some of the names of the players that that could be involved in that midfield area. We've obviously also got the Swedish goat in Ken Sema, who could also play in that midfield area. I think if we've got a toss up though between, and then of course, even before we even consider who to play, we're forgetting Cucho, who I think has been really unlucky to not start matches for us. I think that's the one thing he's going to really want to be looking for, potentially on Saturday back at Vicarage Road. Putting such a great performance off the bench. Some people are arguing, is he better off the bench? Do we start him? I think he deserves at least a start to see what he can do from the off. It's a very difficult decision. I think that central striker role is also really interesting as well. Emmanuel Dennis has done really well. Idea. Emmanuel Dennis has made a great play for it, but then again, you've got Josh King. That's his bread and butter, really, isn't it? Kind of getting himself in there. The one international break, I think it's Cucho, King, Dennis. I saw this come through during the international break. Between them, have scored 8 goals last season. Now, I think Cucho was injured. I think there is a little bit something behind that, but that's still not great, given that we have a man in Ismail Assar who is our superstar and scored more goals on his own last season. He got 13. Troy last season, a beleaguered, injury-ridden season, scored 1 less than those 3 combined. It's not great, is it? Definitely, it's not great. And that actually really surprised me. I expected it to be at least double figures between the 3 of them. There might well have been extenuating circumstances. I know that obviously one of them was injured in Cucho. I think he'd spent some time out on the sidelines and everything. But the link between the midfield and the strike force is crucial. João Pedro, I think, is only going to help that. And you spoke about it off air. He is that missing piece for us. Yeah. That definitely. Crucial man, that crucial player that could just knit everything together. Things are falling a little bit weak in the midfield. Could he be the man to add the extra stitch to make it that little bit better?
Yeah, I just feel like, with the exception of Ismail Assar, In terms of starting players, because I can't really include Kucho in this because he hasn't started, we're just missing that bit of arrogance, that player who can take a risk in there, that player who, you know, can really take the game to the opposition. And yes, Kucho's done that from the bench. We saw a bit of Dennis doing it against Aston Villa and Sarr as well. I feel like João Pedro really could be that man, just to take up that extra level. And that kid is, 20 years old now or something. He is going to be unbelievable.
And in that respect, I think the whole like taking it to the opposition, someone, you know, to kind of grab the game by the cojones. You know, we've had a man who's done that down the years, haven't we? You know, and now he's not there. He's not someone who can come to the bench, rough up the opposition and all that in Troy. João could really fill that position. Yeah. I think what's going to be interesting this weekend, though, specifically, is first of all the team, but also like what Xisco thinks. How kind of preferred starting 11 is. You've got 3 in the midfield. You might have 3 up front. I don't know what kind of formation we're even going to go for. Also, the big C. Who's going to have a C by the name? Who is going to be the new captain?
I'm surprised they haven't announced it.
Yeah, we've not had a formal announcement. It might well be a rotational captain. Depends, doesn't it? You know, if Cleverly is a starter in there, does he get it? Cleverly's not starting. Do we give it to Trusty?
I still said this. I think it will be. I think we'll see a club captain position. I think we'll see a player captain position. I think Arsenal had it a couple of years ago. They were one of the first to do it. I think where they had Per Mertesacker, who hardly ever played for them. He played about that whole season. He was still officially the club captain, and I feel like we'll see Tom Cleverley announced the club captain. He'll write the programme notes and everything.
Yeah, exactly that.
And I feel like we'll see William Troost-Ekong as the player captain, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, we're still waiting for an official announcement on that. But just before we wrap up and do score predictions, what are your thoughts about Wolves? I know we spoke about it a bit at the start, but what threats are you worried about? Obviously, you have Adama Traore, who, again, the end product's not fully there. Jimenez coming back, I think for me, the ones that we can get out are Conor Cody and Willy Bolly. I think at times they can be a bit of a liability. What are your thoughts on Wolves?
Wolves are quite interesting because, as you said, I've not watched a whole amount of them this season. The fact that they're struggling to score goals is a bit of a worry, mainly because they might be reinvigorated after the international break and take out all their frustrations on us, which I don't really want to happen. But it's got to click for them at some point, right? So why can't it click for them on Saturday against us? Adama Traore is a really interesting one. Someone who's got a lot of pace. I've seen a couple of Wolves fans. I think there's a Wolves fan TV channel who's really very critical of Adama Traore after the first couple of games. I think he even posed a question to be like, apart from pace, can any fans give me 3 skills that Adama Traore has? Which I thought was quite a scathing remark to make.
It is true.
Chances for them.
I'm not one to jump on the Adama Traore bandwagon.
No,
I feel like opposition fans, they would have looked at that game against Man City a couple of years ago where he scored a couple of goals and you know, they see him running in behind every single week. I've never really been one to jump on that bandwagon on Adama Traore. I think it's not a case of him being overrated. I just don't think he's got that skill set that everyone thinks he does have. And I feel like that would have really shown if he had that move to Tottenham go through in the summer. I feel like he would have really been exposed for... Watch him score a hat-trick now against us. Now I just feel like that there is a bit of end product that lacks from Adama Traore, and I think that is shown as well. If you watch Wolves highlights, he misses at least a one-on-one every single week. So I think it is certainly one to keep an eye on. I think who are their fullbacks nowadays? They've got Nelson.
I think Nelson Semedo might potentially be one guy. I'm really interested though in what you said about Conor Cody and Willy Bolly. I think it depends on who we start in that central striker role. If it's Emmanuel Dennis, can use his pace to get in behind them, really cause them some sort of problems. Ultimately, though, I think I've kind of seen a little bit of this Watford side. I think, you know, as we all have, of course. But I think the way in which we build up attacks this season, I noticed it against Tottenham. Noticed it a little bit as well against Brighton. Every time the midfield gets the ball, every time its left back gets the ball, we're pinging it out wide to Sarr. And that I noticed that a lot against Tottenham. If Sarr can make it happen, great. He gets past his fullback, runs into the area, and there's Dennis, there's King. There might be a left midfielder in Kucho or someone trying to get on the end of it. Yeah. But if it doesn't get to Sarr and it breaks down, the defence win back the ball, they go at the other end again. It's a little bit too one-dimensional. Got to kind of mix it up a little bit, and that's where we talked about the midfield and the attack becoming a lot better. I think this is going to be a tougher game though than I think than the past. But Nori, that's the guy. Nori. I don't know too much about him. I know he's
I remember I watched him last year on his debut. I was really impressed. He's really young, I think. I think he's might be 18 or something. I was really impressed when I watched him last season. But I think that their goalkeeper looks okay, actually. He made a bad mistake against Man United. I think the Greenwood goal, he should have saved it, but he does look all right. I think it is a time, though, for Wolves, as it is for us. I think it's a transition time for them. Nuno's moved on, obviously. I think, Rui Patricio moved on. Got likes of... We've got players who were linked away in the summer, the likes of Adama Traore, Jimenez coming back from injury. So it's an interesting time if you're a Wolves fan watching this to see how it all plays out. But Shane, just to wrap up, what are your score predictions? You're going to be at the Vic on Saturday, aren't you?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Good stuff. Sitting
in the rookery, trying not to cry when Adama Traore scores his third.
I just can't be bothered. They're like, there's going to be a Wolves fan watching this. They're going to clip it up, put it on Twitter everywhere when he scores a hat trick or something like that. No, but I do think I have a point with it. I feel like it is quite a lot of people say Wolves fans on that YouTube channel say he doesn't have end product. So it's so what are your score predictions?
Look, I've been positive for every game so far. I'm going to keep it up. This is the kind of game that we need to kind of get something from. I think we will. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I can see it being a repeat of a couple of seasons ago. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Watford win. Similar to the 2019 game. I can't. If it's similar to that game, I can't do that. But for the last 5 minutes again, I think it was I think Cabasele got sent off. Didn't he? Yeah. I think Delafeu and who got the other goal that day? Decore, on his birthday in front of the rookery. I remember that now. Moment. Leave your score predictions in the comments. I'll put some up on the screen now. Caroline's gone for a 2-0. Daniel's gone for a 2-0 Watford. Francis has gone. He thinks it'll be a draw or just shade them by 1 goal. Expecting a tough game. I think it's going to be a draw, and I take a draw now if you've offered it to me. A lot of 2-0s we're seeing if Cathcart doesn't play here. I'm going to go. I think it's going to be an awful game to watch. I think it'll be 0-0. That's what I'm going for. I think as well it is something. I think there would be positives to take out of that. I think a clean sheet is something that we do need now for going into 4 games into the season. I think we'll do Daniel Batman the world of good as well. So I think it'll be 0-0. But yeah, that ends up that rounds up the match preview. Shane, thank you very much for joining me today. No worries, mate. No worries.
Hopefully Jacob will be back for the next video as well. Thank you everyone for watching today. Some really good numbers. Thank you everyone for the comments as well. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Look down the link in description for Shane and I's socials and WD18 socials. And we'll see you all for a match reaction on Sunday after the Wolves game. Come on, you Wolves.
Come on, you Wolves.